Is it hot enough for you in the hot stove? As a Blue Jays fan, this one I've got to talk about. I don't even know where to go. I'm totally lost. I was at Target. I was doing stuff. I was living my life.
The boss is coming home today.
Saw a Jeff Passan tweet come over, and I thought I got to go home right now. So, what the hell? I need you guys to, those of you that are with me live, talk me down. I understand. Listen, the rational MLB Jim gets the point, but Blue Jays fan Jim is having a tough time swallowing this one. So we have the Hernandez trade to the Seattle Mariners. Seattle, you had pieces that, I don't want to call them expendable, but your team just got better. I have a poll going for those of you that are live who won the trade, and I firmly believe, even though it makes sense for Toronto with the money, with the free agency looming, with other money they're going to have to spend, I understand how it makes sense for the Blue Jays, but and there's more. This has to be the first domino to fall. There's many other dominoes that can fall, but I'm still struggling to digest this. The Mariners win this trade because you're not. Eric Swanson was great for you last year. I don't think you're going to miss him. That prospect that's coming over as well, who knows if he will ever be good in the major leagues? We don't know. We've seen plenty of pitchers pitch well. He's the 8th prospect in the Mariners system. 8th in the Mariners system. And Mariners have a good system. But he's not like he's the number 1 or the number 2 or the number 3. He's 8th. Great, he's top 10. But if he's 8th, you know what that tells me? There's room for error. There's room for this guy to get to another level and struggle. It's happened before. It could happen again. So if this ends up being Swanson for Hernandez, I'm sorry. I don't like it. So I'm having a tough time digesting. We're going to dive into this. That is my initial reaction. I was driving in the car. By the time the Mariners piece came back, I was just feeling empty. Driving in my car to get back, and I was glad I had 10 minutes to sort of collect myself. My thoughts are still not collected. I am collected, but my thoughts are all over the place. Obviously, this has to be part of it. Let's get into this thing. Let's talk about this. We're going to talk about the pitchers that are coming to Toronto. We'll talk about Teoscar Hernandez. We're going to do the full rundown. Prospect is probably part of another package. So let's go. Here is the tweet. It came down at 10:38 while I was standing in line at Target. All-star outfielder Teoscar Hernandez has been traded to Seattle, and we had to sit for nearly 20 minutes until we finally heard what was coming back in return. We heard about what do we want to call it, 10:45, that Chris Flexen was not involved in the deal. But listen, here's a little side note. Guys, sometimes these reporters, sometimes these insiders are trying to tell us something without telling us something. John Morosi yesterday speculated on a Blue Jays Mariners Teoscar Hernandez trade. Now, he said Chris Flexen, but that's why he was speculating. He had heard something. But the details were not complete. So he can't go out there and then look wrong by saying that the Blue Jays are looking to trade Teoscar Hernandez to the Mariners for Chris Flexen, because he heard, obviously, something was in the works. It's too much of a coincidence. This has been 24 hours. Something was in the works, and that there was pitching coming back to Toronto. So sometimes these guys are trying to tell us something without telling us something. So you got to listen closely. Buster was doing it last year. There's been other things out that sometimes people are trying to tell us something even though they can't yet. Then we heard again, it was Eric Swanson and Adam Macko coming to the Toronto Blue Jays. Swanson had a 1.68 ERA last year. On top of that, Swanson, well, let's put the trade up. The trade again, Teoscar Hernandez to the Mariners, Eric Swanson and Adam Macko to the Toronto Blue Jays. With Swanson, one of the elements that the Blue Jays have coveted, one of the things they need is a lights out bullpen. Eric Swanson helps with that. Eric Swanson last year had an 11.7 K per 9 rate. You're looking for swing and miss arms, and they just got one with Swanson. Swanson pitched 33 games in 2021, was not this good, but based on his age, you can see that he has room for improvement, right? 27 last year, 27 2 years ago, 28 this last year. He's in that prime age window. So there is something good here with Eric Swanson. My question is he worth Teoscar Hernandez? I want to check on the poll. For anybody watching the replay, you'll miss the poll results, but I am interested to see what you guys have. We have a 81% to 19% at this point that the Mariners won the trade. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Alan, can't believe it. I can't believe it either, but this is definitely one of those things where it's the first part of a domino effect. It's the first domino to fall. So what are the Blue Jays going to do next? Here's something interesting as well. John Morosi, last night, the same guy that earlier in the day was saying that the Blue Jays, he hypothesized, he speculated on a Blue Jays and Mariners trade 24 hours ago. Well, about 12 hours ago, he tweeted this. In the weeks ahead, the Jays are expected to add at least one left-handed hitting outfielder from outside the organization. This time, he's straight up telling us, right? Trying to tell us without telling us, and then he goes to he's straight up telling us what is going to happen. You have to put a ton of weight into Morosi's words now after what we have now seen go down. Now, who could those lefty bats be for the Blue Jays? Now, certainly, right field is interesting. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is the left fielder, right? Teoscar has been the right fielder. You guys feel like I'm talking to children right now. I apologize. You are adults. I should be talking. I don't need to. But here's the point. I don't know if you can shift Lourdes Gurriel Jr. over to right field. Don't know if you can do it. I think left field is a good place for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. to play and to stay. I would think that after this Hernandez trade, that he is going to be the player that stays. Felt like one of the two could be traded. Now that Teoscar's gone, I got to think that Lourdes will stay. So we're thinking about what's next. So Lourdes is going to be staying. So who are the left-handed options? This opens the door, creaks the door open for Brandon Nimmo. And I'll tell you why. George Springer long-term is not a center fielder. George Springer is going to have to move to one of those corner outfield spots relatively soon. And if they can go get Brandon Nimmo, then Nimmo's your center fielder. George is your right fielder. Now, George likes to lead off. What happens there? You got to figure that out. But it opens the door. I'm not going to say it makes it likely, but it opens the door. So Andrew Benintendi has been a left fielder. Obviously, maybe you make the move to right. But if we're looking for right field, left-handed outfield options, I mean, look, Brantley, left field, Benintendi, left field, Nimmo, center field, Kiermaier, center field. That's not an upgrade anyway. And then every other piece, you're not looking at. So where they go is going to be fascinating. Who that outfielder is. I always felt like it would be a left fielder that they would try to bring in. So if you trade Teoscar Hernandez away, you start looking at right fielders. I know I brought up that insane trade and nobody wanted to believe me, but it really wasn't. This wasn't my trade. It's information. There's a right fielder. Highly, 99.99999% unlikely to happen. You can say 100% unlikely to happen. But there's a right field spot open now, and there really are, when we're looking at right fielders that are available in the free agent market, someone's got to move. That's almost why I lean that this could be a Brandon Nimmo door opening, because then you move Springer to right. When we're looking at center fielders that are out there, it's kind of light after Nimmo. We're looking at Kevin Kiermaier. We're looking at, and we're focusing on lefty bats. What do we got there? So you're kind of in a spot where there's some left fielders available. There's not a lot of right fielders available when we're specifically looking at the lefty bats. Brantley, I agree. I don't know what Brantley's got left. And again, I think of Brantley, I have him in left field or DH. And at this point, Blue Jays, until the Blue Jays trade one of those catchers, which seems likely, there you go. This could open up the possibility. Now that Teoscar's gone, if they're going to trade one of the catchers, and John Morosi saying at least one left-handed bat, is this done via trade or is this done via free agency? Is this a Michael Conforto, Brandon Nimmo combo? How does this play out? Michael Conforto, Javier, I see you right there. Javier, that opens the door for Michael Conforto because he is a right fielder. Michael Conforto has played right. He has played center. So you could go Conforto for right field. That's a good call. Michael Conforto is a possibility there. And if you have the DH spot available, that opens up another possibility. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Split finger, I cannot see a world where Bryan Reynolds gets traded. They have said that they feel like they are going to be able to compete before Bryan Reynolds reaches free agency, unrestricted free agency, so they want to hold on to him. So I don't think that you're going to see Bryan Reynolds. Michael, what's going on, my friend? Good luck if you think the Jays are going to spend money Nimmo is going to demand. Money just came off the books with Teoscar Hernandez. I think the Blue Jays have a big spend in them. I do think they have a big spend in them. I don't know how big that gets, but I do believe the Blue Jays have money to spend. I mean, the Teoscar Hernandez contract coming off the books frees up some dough. I'm going to look up a few things here. I want to pull up the Blue Jays overall payroll situation. Well, let me do something. Because the money that is coming off the books from Hernandez is important to consider here. You're also going to have money coming off the books from Hyunjin Ryu soon. So you're going to move on from that deal. That deal is not going to be forever. If you're wondering about the contract situation, I think a lot of you probably already are aware of Teoscar's situation. This was going to be his final arbitration year. Spot-Track had an estimate of $14.5 million for Teoscar Hernandez, and then he was going to be an unrestricted free agent. At a difficult, from an organizational standpoint, a difficult age to put together a long-term contract because he is going to be age 30 in his age 31 season that first year on a new deal wherever he goes. But maybe Seattle brings him in, works out a deal, gets him locked up to his age 34 season, buys out this last year of arbitration, and then buys age 31, 32, 33, and 34 and gets it all squared away. It's good. Or because, look, Seattle didn't give up the haul that you look at from what they gave up for Luis Castillo. You had to lock Luis Castillo in. I think they would like to get a deal done with Teoscar Hernandez, and I think there's a very good chance that we'll hear of a deal done with Teoscar Hernandez. But also, at the end of the day, you gave up a good reliever, your number 8 prospect. You don't burn the stadium down if Teoscar Hernandez ends up walking at the end of the year because of what you gave up. It was good, but it wasn't Luis Castillo good, or you gave up one of the top prospects in baseball. So, Kevin on Twitter right now, any Jays fan, you know who I'm talking about when I say Kevin. Kevin on Twitter right now saying that Blue Jays, this has to mean one thing: Aaron Judge is the right fielder. I love where his heart's at. I love where his head's at. I don't know about Gallo. Gallo is a lefty bat. I see Gallo just popping up in the chat. That is just too much swing and miss there. I think Gallo's going to end up somewhere, either back in LA on a 1-year deal, or he will end up somewhere that he has ties to. Ties to the Rangers, ties to he has ties to the Rangers, the Padres, and the Rays. Now that John Daniels is affiliated with the Rays in some capacity. What's he? He's a advisor or something. So I could see Joey Gallo ending up back with one of his previous ties. Yes, Kyle, $14 million off the books, so that does open up some money that the Blue Jays can invest in some other areas. So we have this. This is an interesting element to the team. Let's also, again, considering what the Blue Jays could do, we're kind of focused on right now, because I'm a Jays fan. Don't worry, we will talk. I'm trying to give a well-rounded approach to this thing. But when we think about what's next, this has to be the first domino effect for the Toronto Blue Jays. It just has to be domino one of many dominoes, right? Looking at the payroll situation. So, Teoscar Hernandez has $14 million coming off the books. Let's also consider that if you make a big spend this offseason, you're still okay, depending on how many years you go. Hyunjin Ryu is $20 million this year, and then they're done. So you can see on the horizon that $20 million coming back to the Toronto Blue Jays. You're going to need that, because if you're moving on from Teoscar Hernandez, does that mean that you're going to re-sign Lourdes Gurriel Jr., or is he still a possibility to get dealt? Let's see, Jim, which left-handed bats do you think we should aim for via a trade? I would hold off on trades at this point. I think you made your big trade. I think the Blue Jays made the big trade. I would hold off on trades at this point, and I would focus on free agency. I would try to address that need this way. If we get a month in and they still haven't addressed it, some trades fell through, or some free agency deals fall through, and those lefty bats that we talked about, let's say Conforto goes somewhere else, let's put Nimmo somewhere else, let's put Benintendi somewhere else. Sleeper, Jurickson Profar, some of you may hate him, but I like what he brings to a team. I wouldn't go spend a ton of money on him. I wouldn't put him at the top of the list. But if they get Jurickson Profar, I also won't be sad. But if all of those pieces go somewhere else, then let's get into that whole trade. Let's get into the trade situation. Let me update the poll at this point. Interested to see what you guys are saying. We are at, where is that? Still a overwhelming majority, and it is 100%. 1000% agree with you on the poll results there. This is a landslide win for the Seattle Mariners in 2023. Now, long term, maybe the Blue Jays work on this, but again, if we're just keeping the trade in a vacuum, then the Mariners win this deal. Even if Swanson's great next year, I think the Mariners have won this trade. And you have again, other pieces. This doesn't mean that the Blue Jays at the end of the offseason will get a bad offseason grade, because this could be step one of 5 or 6 steps. Michael, Profar is overrated. I actually think he's underrated. I know you're a lot closer to the NL West, being the Giants fan, but I actually think Profar is underrated at this point. I think when fans that are not familiar with him just go look up his numbers and they see the low batting average, they see the mid home run count, nobody's going to be that impressed. But I think that there's actually a decent thing going on there with him. Brady Johnson, what's going on, man? How are you? So, big stuff here. Let's talk about, again, Seattle. Good job. Listen, at the end of the day, Seattle, after giving up what they gave up, from a perspective of the bullpen, the Seattle Mariners still have Paul Sewald, Andres Munoz, Diego Castillo, whoever doesn't get into the rotation between Matt Brash and Chris Flexen. You've got Penn Murphy. You still have a good bullpen and the opportunity to go get one of the free agents that's out there. So the Mariners bullpen, by giving up Eric Swanson, does not take a hit whatsoever. Again, you like Swanson because of his swing and miss rate. When we look at the Seattle pitchers and the K rates, I think we have to put, Eric Swanson, second best K rate on the team behind Andres Munoz. Now, is Swanson as good as Munoz? Hell no. But when we're looking at K rates, we're looking at missing the bats. Swanson was the second best on the team. Sewald was good. You had a good situation with Matt Brash, good situation with Murphy, and those, Murphy and Brash are young. They could continue to improve in those areas. But last year, you had the second best K rate on the team. From just a quick eyeball here, it looks like that was Swanson. So the Blue Jays identified that as a priority, and they went out and they got that done. Let's keep going here. And again, with your lineup now, Seattle Mariners, you throw Teoscar Hernandez right in the middle there. Teoscar Hernandez, 25 home runs last year, but that was kind of down. That was a down year for Teoscar Hernandez. He missed some time. He went through some slumps. At the end of the day, Teoscar Hernandez is really a 30 homer guy. I'm trying to multitask here. Teoscar Hernandez is a 30 homer guy. He hit 32 in 2021. He hit 16 in the shortened season in 2020. We saw the progression. We saw him evolve into a good hitter moving after 2019. 2019, he hit 26 bombs in 125 games and a .230 batting average. But he's a different player now. His batting average is higher. The power potential is higher. The slugging is, we're looking at a guy that's going to slug 500 for you and have a chance to go 30 home runs. You got a great bat. And I almost argue, you look at J-Rod at the top, you got Ty France after that, Eugenio Suarez, Cal Raleigh. This obviously signals the end for any Mitch Haniger return situation. That's not going to happen because you're full now. You're literally full. I mean, it looks like they're going to give Kelenic the run, let him try to get it together, and even if that doesn't work out, you've got Winker ready to go. Winker right now lined up as the DH on Fangraphs. So you have a Mariners situation where Teoscar Hernandez really improves that lineup. And from a Blue Jay perspective, that's the other thing here. Guys, the Mariners just kicked the Blue Jays' ass in the postseason. And we were talking about it last night with the guys from Blue Jays today. Without Teoscar Hernandez, they're not even in some of that. Teoscar Hernandez was the offense. And now Teoscar Hernandez is on the other side. It's just tough to digest. Let's see. Some of you are saying to go check out Morosi. Let's see what's going on with John Morosi. Again, we talked about that earlier. There's something with Morosi. He is connected to this. He brought up the Teoscar Hernandez rumor yesterday. Let's see. John Morosi tweeting 3 minutes ago. Okay. Blue Jays are showing interest in free agent Brandon Nimmo. Trade of Teoscar Hernandez has freed up a spot in the lineup and the lefty bat they have lacked. So, do we need to do a Brandon Nimmo Blue Jays watch? Here's the point. I talked about it. What point are we in the stream here? I love that Morosi just brought that up because I brought that up 12 minutes ago, somewhere around there, that this trade opens the door for Nimmo because George Springer is not a long-term fixture in center field for the Toronto Blue Jays. So if you slide Springer to right or Springer gets DH time because you're going to trade one of your catchers, which will open up the designated hitter spot, then you have Nimmo in center. I talked about it last night with the guys again. 2 lefty bats are what the Blue Jays need. And that meant sacrificing one of the corner outfielders. My preference was Gurriel, but I get it. The Teoscar Hernandez, falls on the sword. So Hernandez is gone. That gives you the opportunity to go get one lefty bat there. And then when you're talking about that DH spot, it could be anybody. When you're looking at, now, Morosi specifically mentioned a outfielder last night. So does that stick? If they get Brandon Nimmo and he's going to be in the outfield and you are planning to move Springer to right, you now and you trade one of those catchers, Kirk or Jansen. Listen, at the end of the day, guys, I think one of those two are going. Think about the plan. Think about the process that we're kind of seeing with the Toronto Blue Jays right now. I got to think it's Kirk or Jansen that are going to be traded and not necessarily Moreno because you want to free up that designated hitter spot to be a rest day for Springer, for Vladdy. You don't want that necessarily locked into a catcher all the time. But if that designated hitter spot does open up for anybody, that opens the possibility of somebody like a Josh Bell. That's a lefty bat that you could slide into DH, and him and Vladdy could go back and forth, first base, DH. I don't think maybe that's a perfect world scenario, but that just depends on how some of these dominoes fall. If Steve Cohen gets involved and he's like, no way, sorry, Toronto, not again. We're not doing this again. And he just goes and gives Brandon Nimmo all the money that Brandon Nimmo wants, then, we'll see how the dominoes fall. Let's see. No, I wouldn't think A's. I would not think he did because he was at the top of the lineup. Nick, I agree with you. I think if you can, see, it's a tough call. What's the return, right? What is the return? Because I love Kirk. I'll be honest, I love all three of them. But I have to think that the return is going to be stronger. You have a longer future. You have a longer runway with Kirk than you do with Jansen. But Jansen, they love Danny Jansen in that clubhouse. They love Danny Jansen in that front office. They love how he handles that pitching staff. It's tough to trade any of them. It's going to be tough to trade any of them. Again, welcome into everybody. If you have not yet, hit that like. I'm not focused on the like count right now, but hit that like if you have not yet. We are at 67 with over 500 of you here. If you have not yet, make sure to hit that like. Let's try to get a like spike going. We got to get over 100, right? 100 seems like a slam dunk at this point. That's not hard. And subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel yet. Make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna put a lofty like goal up of 200. No matter how you're feeling about this trade, Jays fans, I'm here with you. Let's hit that like. Let's see if we get to 200 here in the next few minutes. Can't trade Kirk. Hard to replace a catcher. I gotta move something. Close that out of the way. There we go. Can't replace a catcher that can produce. I agree. I would I can't pick. I cannot pick between the three. I honestly cannot do it. Seriously. I know that Jansen's the easy, quick one to move on to, but look at what the Blue Jays just got in return for Teoscar Hernandez. What are the Blue Jays going to get in return for Danny Jansen if he's the piece? Literally nothing. This is what you got for Teoscar Hernandez, just imagine what Danny Jansen's trade value is. It's literally nothing. And I think you want to open up that designated hitter spot. You've got to. You absolutely have to. You need two strong lefty bats in the lineup. You can't just have one. What's up, Tyler Wardy? How you doing, brother? Seeing both Simeon and Teo now gone pains me more than it should as a Mets fan. I expected Marcus Simeon. This one kind of comes as a shock, Tyler. Tyler, a friend of the channel. Make sure to subscribe to Tyler. Check out his stuff. Watch some of his videos. Get his... Go click, like, subscribe, all that good stuff for Tyler over there at Wardy NYM. Truth is that the Jays should be all in on Rodon. From Michael, coming from a Giants fan. I think that if they can get him, sure. I don't know if it needs to be all in. I think the focus from Morosi, his words, are that the Blue Jays just seem steady focused on trading a catcher and signing a lefty bat, specifically in the outfield. Specifically. All day, Tyler, all day. Mets will trade Danny Jansen for McCann. No. Don't do that. Don't you put that devil on me. I want nothing to do with James McCann. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Never. I got to tell you. What's next for the Toronto Blue Jays? There is money, $14 million saved by doing this deal. You've got $20 million coming off the books next year when Ryu's contract is done. So it gives them money in the short term to make something happen. They have the money to make one splash. Envy, we can have Winker. Can you throw him in real quick? Is that too late? I don't know. Winker's a mess. Something's wrong with Winker. I know Jesse Winker can draw a walk with the best of them, but what the hell happened when he actually makes contact with the ball? It went to shit. Come on, man. I gotta tell you, I don't want. No, James, we can't do it. Cannot do it. But I do. Again, I just feel like this is step one. And John Morosi, I'll say this for everybody that was not here a few minutes ago. John Morosi, 24 hours ago, said that the Blue Jays could make a trade with the Mariners for Teoscar Hernandez. It was all speculative, right? Didn't seem like he had any details, source, insider info, anything like that. It was a speculation. He knew something. These guys know things sometimes. You got to pick up when they know something. Okay? There are times that these people are trying to tell us something. And he was trying to tell us something yesterday because 24 hours later, the deal happens. Now, it's not for Chris Flexen, but it was for pitching. So that tells you he knew a deal was in the works. He just didn't have all the pieces, and it wasn't close enough to the finish line. Unfortunately, he didn't get to break the deal. Jeff Passan scooped everybody, which is not surprising. But later in the night, last night, talked about this also a few minutes ago, that the Blue Jays, after they had DFA'd Tapia and Zimmer, that in the weeks ahead, the Jays are expected to add at least one left-handed hitting outfielder from outside the organization. You kind of get caught up. Again, the wording is the Jays are expected to add at least one left-handed hitting outfielder. So it could be Nimmo, it could be Nimmo and it could be Nimmo only. It could be Benintendi only. There's so many different ways that they could go. But John Morosi, you have to trust. If he's telling you something about the Blue Jays right now, Blue Jays fans, all notifications need to be on when it comes to John Morosi. And then again, about 10 minutes ago, John Morosi tweeting the Jays showing interest in free agent Brandon Nimmo. The trade of Teoscar Hernandez has freed up a lot in the Toronto lineup, a spot in the Toronto lineup, and the left-handed bat they've been looking for. Morosi knows things. Morosi knows things. That tells me the Blue Jays and Brandon Nimmo are talking. So the Mets, if you want Brandon Nimmo back, have to get active in that area. Split figure. Jays closing in on Toolsy Derek Fisher. Hey, man, Derek Fisher. Don't sleep on Derek Fisher. A good one. Somebody put out to me a Cubs situation with Wilson Contreras potentially going bye-bye, that you could see a trade fit there with the Toronto Blue Jays. One of those catchers bringing Ian Happ over. Ian Happ, switch hitter. You could put him on both sides of the plate. That's an interesting move. Is that the trade for the catcher? There are not a lot of areas where the Blue Jays have a potential trade partner that also has a center fielder that they're looking to trade. We know Detroit was interested, but Detroit was looking, the speculation was that the Blue Jays and the Tigers could revisit the talks that they had about pitching at the trade deadline. I got to think that this trade here puts the end to that. I mean, maybe it doesn't. Maybe Toronto goes out and is able to swing a trade for, Soto or Jimenez or somebody like that. But, what's up, John? Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here. So, Daniel, Nimmo wouldn't look good in a Jays uniform. You think so? I don't know. Everybody looks good in the white, the blue, sometimes the baby blue. Everybody looks good in that. It's one of the best color combos on planet Earth, white and blue. Come on now, look at this screen. Look at the white. And you throw in a nice red. You throw in the nice red there. It's sharp. It's sharp. You got two shades of blue there. It's fucking beautiful. Anyway, everybody looks good. But that's an interesting idea. Happ is a left fielder, but correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe, and I'll look it up real quick too, I do believe Ian Happ has played some center field in his career. And he's still young enough, going to be entering his age 28 season, to where that tells me you could put him back in center field. Let's see. He was left fielder for 146 games this past season. He was left field and center field split last year in 2021. In 2022, he was primarily a center fielder. Or 2020, primarily center field. 21, he split time. 2022, he was pretty much exclusively the left fielder. Was that, though, because of the need, because where they need him to play? Could they move him back to center field would be, I guess, really the question here. Ian Happ, how is his jump? How is his... Let me see. Let me see what we got here for a baseball savant perspective. Just defensive metrics for Ian Happ. We've got a outfielder jump of 42. That's not great. 42nd percentile, so that's 8 points below league average. We've got an arm strength of 47th percentile, so right close to league average. And as far as outs above average, he's in the 79th percentile. That sometimes can be misleading, but we're getting, I'll just say, slightly above average defensive plays in left field made by Ian Happ. Can you move him back to center field? When he was the center fielder in 2020, we had a better outfielder jump and arm strength from Ian Happ, and the outs above average kind of stayed about the same. In 2021, again, when he was doing split duty, his outs above average was in the tank. Outfielder jump was the worst that we've seen. Arm strength was all right, going back and forth between left and center. So, I don't know. I feel like if that's where you go, I wouldn't kill it. I wouldn't kill him. What's up, Blue Jays today? What's going on? Is this Adam? Adam, I saw you going. I'm assuming Nick is working. I'm processing. I was listening to you while I was getting my stuff ready. It's an interesting time. You mentioned his presence on the team, his smile. This is the guy, correct? I mean, this is the sunflower seeds. Was he the genesis of the home run jacket? Is he going to take that with him to Seattle? He really was a strong clubhouse guy. And listen, that doesn't mean you're going to be there forever. But that is one of those things that you're going to move on eventually. Phil, what's going on? Love to try from the Pirates. I think it is such a long shot that they're going to trade Reynolds. I think that is going to be a tough one to pull off. Pittsburgh thinks that they will be able to compete before he becomes a free agent. Everybody keep hitting that like. We are at 143 with a goal of 200. So the question is, with 562 of you here now, are there 57 of you that have not hit the like yet? Be sure to hit the like if you have not yet. Keep coming in with your thoughts, everybody. Let me know what you think. We have a trade, I think, that is sort of polarizing in the Blue Jays world, in the Mariners world. I think you love it, right? Seattle Mariners fans, you love this. Teoscar Hernandez and Eric Swanson. It's absolutely a beautiful thing to see. Swanson, again, we like the K rate. Looks good. Might be the highest K rate on the team. Don't suck next year, bro. That's it. That's the t-shirt. Don't suck next year. To Eric Swanson. And Adam Macko, don't know if he's ever going to play baseball. In the major, let me put this, hold on, back up. Don't know if he's ever going to play effectively at the major league level. That's what I meant to say. Adam Macko is the number 8 prospect for the Mariners. How does he do when he goes to the next level? What do you get from him moving forward? That is something that obviously has to be taken into account. Adam Macko last year was at A-ball with a 3.99 ERA. I know that doesn't tell the whole story there. You've got 60 Ks and 38 and a third innings. That's elite, but that's also A-ball, A advanced. So those K rates always come down the higher you go. Rarely does that stay. The K rates will come down. If he's dominating A advanced, fantastic. How's he going to do a double A? I don't know. How's he going to do a triple A? I don't know. That's the point. We got 2 more levels to see how Adam Macko can perform. Certainly bolsters the farm system. I get that. But I don't know. Let's see. Adam Macko. So we'll see what Adam Macko, if he can ever make it. If he can ever make it. Listen, he's still got to make it through the farm system. You've seen guys in the top 10 for certain teams never make it. Or if they do make it, not pitch well. Listen, fine. We got a prospect. But as you can tell, I'm not totally sold on the prospect. I like Swanson. I think he's going to do well. But if it ends up being Swanson for Hernandez, I don't know, man. Teoscar Hernandez is fantastic. Luke D. Mariners got fleeced. That is an interesting take, Luke. I don't think too many have put that out there, have put that next to their name. Definitely CW Moss. The Blue Jays did need bullpen, but I will also highlight this factor with the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen. After the trade deadline last year, you had Romano. You had Yimi Garcia. You had Anthony Bass. You had Tim Meisa. You had Adam Simber. You had Zach Pop. That's 6 guys in what I call the circle of trust. And think about how we see teams go through the postseason. That circle of trust gets whittled down to the most trustworthy guys. And you end up seeing 5 guys, for the most part, coming out of that bullpen. You have sort of your 5 best. Maybe you go to 6. So now Swanson's an upgrade. Hell yeah, Swanson's an upgrade. But the Blue Jays, did they need bullpen so badly that they move on from Teoscar Hernandez? This has to be part of a big strategy, a big plan, which I do believe it is. But it still kind of sucks to see Teoscar go. It still kind of sucks. I would have loved to see him stay, but obviously I know that this is just how it goes. Let's see. Redbirds, one of the Jays catchers will be traded. Yes, and that will be an interesting element to how this plays in. That is a factor, opening up a potential spot. That's why I think it ends up being Kirk or Jansen, just because that opens up a spot in the lineup. Because Moreno and whoever is left from one of those two, then you just get into a situation where they go back and forth. You're not giving exclusively somebody the designated hitter spot. You have Moreno and Jansen, and they go back and forth, and they share time at catcher. And that DH spot is all of a sudden open for another outfielder for a rest day. That's open for Vladdy for a rest day, and you have somebody else that can slide to first. So that's why I think it ends up being Jansen or Kirk that goes in a trade. You can move Springer to DH if you do that. If Brandon Nimmo is the play down the road, then you have Brandon Nimmo as your center fielder, and you still have a spot to add another outfielder. 2 lefty bats the Blue Jays need. They need 2. One is not going to get it done. I talked about it last night. I think they need 2. If they don't get 2, it's a big mistake. Because the problem is the lineup, just think about it from a straight up, truly baseball situation. If you are pitching to a lineup full of righties, you can get locked in. And the approach for all of them is the same. You can just get locked in to your target. And primarily, Jays fans, you've watched it, you've seen it, the target's low and away. And you just get locked in and you just zone in on that. Muscle memory takes over and you're just dotting. If you have 2 impact lefties in there, you, as a pitcher, have to change things up. You all of a sudden cannot pitch everybody the same way. If you have Brandon Nimmo at the number 1 spot, for the next 8 guys, you can lock in. But if you have Brandon Nimmo at number 1 and, I don't know, Andrew Benintendi at number 5, or however you build it, or maybe Springer still wants to lead off, so Nimmo's number 2, however you figure it out. 2 lefty bats. That is what I believe they do need. What if we got Gallo and Nimmo? I wouldn't mind that from Hashir. Gallo's too much swing and miss. If Gallo's there, he's on the back. Gallo cannot be the ad with any significant weight on his shoulders. If they go get Gallo expecting big things from him, then they're set up for a problem. Let's see. Daniel, I don't believe they will have yet. Wait to see if he gets a big payday. That may do it. Let's see. JC Van Dam. Jays need to switch it up. Yes, I'm going to miss Teo, but the Jays bullpen sucked. It wasn't good. Us Jays fan, I think that's the quick feeling. How do you feel about the Jays pen? Oh, it sucked. Well, it kind of did it. It didn't suck that bad. It's good. It's good now. Okay, I'm not all the way over the edge that the Jays bullpen sucked. I think pieces of the bullpen sucked. I think sometimes how the bullpen was managed sucked. And Trevor Richards needs to go. Trevor Richards needs to go. It's done. It's over. It sucks we traded Rowdy Tellez for him, but move the hell on. It's done. I don't want to see Trevor Richards comes into the game and I'm scared. I don't want to see Trent Thornton pitching out of the bullpen anymore. I'm done with Merriweather. There are the pieces that really hurt them. If you stick to the circle of trust, Romano, Garcia, Bass, Miza, Simber, Pop, and now Swanson, Phelps is probably on his way out. That's it. You're good. Michael, why not pick up Brandon Belt on a one-year deal as long as he's healthy? Brandon Belt is either going to go. There are certain teams that would prioritize Brandon Belt differently. Think about like a draft board, right? Where you have certain needs, and you have certain priorities. So certain players are going to be higher on your draft board, and it'll be lower on other teams' board. I think Brandon Belt would be an interesting fit, but lower on the Blue Jays board, where Brandon Belt is probably higher on other teams' boards. So I don't think a Brandon Belt Blue Jays fit is there right now, but a Brandon Belt fit with other teams is there right now. So Brandon Belt could get scooped up before it gets to the point where he's towards the top of the Blue Jays board. What, William, I see you tweeting, what Dansby? What about Dansby? Don't tell me something else. Don't tell me something else happened. Okay, no, we've got Adrian Rojan. Okay, that's nothing. Ben Nicholson Smith tweeting, so are Blue Jays better now than they were yesterday? Eric Swanson is legitimately an elite reliever. Wait. For 1 year. Sorry. For 1 year, he was an elite reliever. You see this? You see guys swing. 1 year they're good, the next year they suck. For 1 year. Do it for 2, 3, 4 consecutive years, and then I will give you an elite reliever. I'm not ready to go there yet. He was great last year. Do it again. And then do it again. But Ben Nicholson Smith, legitimately an elite reliever. That said, an everyday outfielder with 35 homer power is a more valuable player. Thank you. So today, Jays likely worse. Does that matter on November 16th? Probably not if they add meaningfully enough later. Ben Nicholson Smith sort of hitting it right on the head. As long as this is part of a plan that is going to see a lefty outfield bat come in, then this is what you got to do. I want 2 of them, though. One's not enough. Because if you traded one of the catchers, that opened up a spot to keep Teoscar Hernandez. If you only get one lefty bat, then I think this is a failure. Because you're going to trade one of those catchers. That's going to open up another spot. 2. It's got to be 2. If it's 1, it's a failure. Because you could have kept Teoscar Hernandez in that world. If you want to go get Brandon Nimmo after you trade or before you trade one of the catchers, Brandon Nimmo becomes your center fielder. George Springer becomes your DH. Teoscar Hernandez is still out there. Got to get 2. Absolutely has to happen. 2. But this is certainly part of a plan. Can they make the plan happen? Can they make the plan happen? What's up, Eric? No way. Oh, man, I've said so many things. I'm not even sure what you're referring to, Eric. Let's see here. I want to see what you guys have to say. Just excuse me. Damn. Hold on. Let me get my handy dandy Kofi. That just shows you how bad the bullpen was. Our bullpen was. That shows you how important. It shows you 2 things. And along those lines, sure, okay. I think this shows you how much the Blue Jays have prioritized elite bullpen arms. I'm surprised, again, there are some good arms available via the free agent market, but they go this route. But this also shows you the market. If you want to trade for a good reliever, a great reliever last year, look what you have to give up. Damn. Murdy, what's going on? You also follow me on Instagram. Fantastic. You're one of, I think, maybe a couple hundred. I don't do anything on Instagram. What do you think of bringing Benintendi and Profar or Nimmo and Brantley? Thanks. Wade, I would say I like that package. Give me 2 of those guys. Give me Nimmo and Benintendi. I also, again, the Profar thing, I'm all right with Profar. I think Profar's good. Let's see. Correa, Cubs. That's what you are referring to about the Cubs. I think that there's a very real chance that that goes down. Let's see what happens. Time will tell. I could either be right or wrong, and that's fine. But I'm gonna ride that Correa to the Cubs train into the side of a mountain. Let's see. Carlos Correa. I know that there's some hype for Correa to the Blue Jays. That's a tough one. Move Bo to second. That would be, hey, I don't know if the Jays have that kind of money. I know that they've got money to make a splash, but I don't know if they have that kind of money. And now all of a sudden, the Blue Jays have to get an outfielder. And if we're looking at the lefty bats that are available on the free agent market, we have a situation where these guys are going to require dough. You got to pay these guys. You got to pay Brandon Nimmo. You got to pay Andrew Benintendi. Jurickson Profar, if that's the route they go, you got to pay him. Jurickson Profar just walked away from $8.3 billion. He's probably going to get double that. Now, Michael Brantley, you don't have to pay, but I don't know. Michael Brantley doesn't excite me that much. Mitch Haninger's another righty bat. That doesn't work. Yeah. So the lefty bats, it falls off pretty quick, folks. After Nimmo and Benintendi, it falls off pretty quick. Then you go to Profar. Then you go down to Kiermaier and Grossman and Taylor Nyquin and Joey Gallo. There is Michael Conforto. How's Michael Conforto after a year off? Where does he kind of fit in? I think I would put Conforto between that Nimmo, Benintendi, between them and Profar. Somewhere between that tier. If we were doing a tier ranker. That's where I would go. Envy, you've got Winker as a good comeback candidate. Oh, he's got to be. He's got to come back after that. Yeah, Owen, I'm with you. Michael Brantley, just the age. I still think he could hit, but unless they can add him as a depth piece late, that's it. I don't want him as a main fixture. Michael, you've got the Giants talking to Correa. Yeah, the Giants are talking to Correa. There's a lot of teams talking to Carlos Correa now. Let's see, what is that? No, that's old. Okay, never mind. I do think hit it hard that the Yankees are the fit. They are the best fit. They have the biggest need right now. I agree. Or Yoshida, right? I'm thinking, and that's for the Yankees. That's for the Yankees. Quick reminder: subscribe if you have not yet, folks. We are growing the channel at a really nice rate lately. BALLCAP Nation is growing. I want you to be a part of it. Subscribe if you have not yet to be a part of BALLCAP Nation. That is our community. That's you guys. That's the living, breathing organism that one day is going to take over YouTube. Subscribe. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. You are in. It is free. It is easy. And hit that like if you haven't yet. I know we are over the like goal. But hit that like. Let's keep hitting that like. Let's get that like goal up. I've got some more time here. Hit that like goal. Let's go for 300. Why not? We have over 550 here. Are there about, what's the number? Are there 83 of you that have not hit the like yet? Keep hitting that like, everybody. What's up, Jameson? How are you? Any Jays fans coming in? How you feeling about the trade? Any Niners? I thought I saw one of my Niners guys in. Mariners fans, how you feeling about the trade? Youngster, good to see you too, man. Blue Jays working together, right? We have that live show. It is going to be a Tuesday night live show. We had been doing the premieres on Wednesday because we were taping on Tuesday night. Yep, that's a live show now that will continue. We'll just put it indefinitely. We're just going to keep doing that thing because we're having fun. People are watching it. You guys seem to like it, so we'll keep doing it. I hope not, Victor. I don't want to do that. I don't want to take on a project. The Blue Jays are not in a position to take on a project. So they're not in position to swing anything for Cody Bellinger, to go get Joey Gallo. This is not project time for the Toronto Blue Jays unless we get to the end of free agency and it's just there sitting there. And everything else has come together and, this would be a nice cherry on top. Why not? It's a low-risk situation because we're already set. That's the only way I see the Blue Jays taking on a project at this point. Jameson, dude, it's anybody's guess. Anybody's guess. Jim, Mariners, I see a few people. Mariners got fleeced. I got to tell you, this is one of those interesting things. Different strokes for different folks, right? How much do you value pitching? This grading out of this trade is how much do you like pitching? If you think pitching is end all be all, then you love this trade for the Toronto Blue Jays. Getting a top 10 prospect from the Mariners, getting a pitcher who was an elite reliever last year. She gave up Teoscar Hernandez, a big bat. You take Teoscar Hernandez out of that lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays right now. You take him out. You go Springer, Bo, and Vladdy. And then, I'm sorry, I kind of go, I like Chapman, but we know Chapman goes into slumps. Chapman also can get hot as hell, but Chapman goes into slumps. Kirk is a good hitter. I don't think I want Kirk hitting fourth. I don't think I want Chapman hitting fourth. Then you got Jansen, you got Gurriel, Whit Merrifield, Santiago Espinal, Kevin Biggio. Teoscar Hernandez helped lengthen the power portion of this lineup, and now half the lineup. We've got George, Bo, Vladdy, and Matt Chapman that can go deep at any moment. You're not going to get, listen, Alejandro Kirk, 14 home runs last year, a 285 batting average. I think he could continue to get a little bit better, but does he ever become a guy that you can count on for 20 home runs? I don't think so. I think he lives between 15 and 20. And that batting average can probably live in that high 2s to low 3s. Love that. Matt Chapman, that's a guy that could hit 30 home runs, but he could also hit 220. How does he perform with the shift going away? We'll find out about that, but I just feel like when you lose Teoscar Hernandez, the lineup just lost some punch. Now, if you add Brandon Nimmo in and all of those pieces slide down 1, Nimmo 1, Springer 2, Bo 3, Vladdy 4, Kirk 5, Chapman 6, that starts to look good. Even better if you can add another lefty. Even better if you could add another. Kofi, right. I want Matt Chapman and that 229 to 250 batting average and those 27 home runs to live in that 6th spot. I just do. I want to have something more impactful. I want more pop. Brandon Nimmo's not going to bring pop. And quite frankly, what's available on the free agent market for the Toronto Blue Jays when we're looking at power bats? Nimmo's not giving you power. Benintendi's not giving you power. Profar's not giving it to you. Brantley's not giving it to you. Kiermaier's not giving it to you. Guys, when we're looking at the lefty outfield bats, there's nobody that's out there that's going to give you the same kind of power that Teoscar Hernandez gave you. Now, you put the guy at the top of the lineup. That's all right. That moves the power bats down a spot, but you don't have a power bat to replace Teoscar Hernandez sitting out there on the free agent market that's a lefty. Even Josh Bell. Anybody that has hopes for Josh Bell, maybe coming over after the Blue Jays or before the Jays trade a catcher. You have Bell sort of go back and forth between DH and first base with Vladdy. Vladdy's your Gold Glove first baseman, so I don't know how much you want to do that. Bell's probably going to want to play first base somewhere, but that's a long shot, but let's run it through for a minute. Even if you go Josh Bell's power went down this past year. Jose Abreu's power, he's not a lefty bat, went down. The Blue Jays really needed Jock Peterson to decline the qualifying offer. Can we Really? That's what we needed. The Jays needed Jock Peterson to decline the QO, or they needed to have gotten their shit together last year and gotten that Schwarber deal done. I'm still living on that. Jimmy Productions, thank you for the donation. What's up? Josh Bell to Blue Jays replace Hernandez. Here you go, Jimmy. You're on it right there. I'm just realizing that I need to do one thing. For those of you that have subscribed, I do appreciate you coming in, subscribing. Welcome to BALLCAP Nation. All of you that have subscribed, I'm realizing that the alert box is off because I was recording something on here the other day, and I turned the alert box off because I didn't want it to pop up. So it's back on now. Let's see. Kenneth now, who is more likely to sign Contreras, Cubs or St. Louis? I think Detroit's going to keep jamming that thing. I think Detroit's a sneaky team. Detroit or Houston. That's where I would go. I think one of those two teams, Detroit's a sneaky choice, and Houston was interested in him at the trade deadline, just didn't make it happen. Now they can get him for a draft pick. So I think Houston's a very sneaky play there for him. Merrifield's a righty, Corey. Merrifield is a right-handed bat. Mason, this is so dumb. This is a tough one. This is a very polarizing trade. No doubt about it. There we go. The alerts are back. Ariel, thank you for subscribing. Again, welcome in to all of the new subscribers. Let's see. Brandon is perfectly fine with the trade. I'm fine with it as long as these other pieces move forward. If the Blue Jays, if this turns into something where Steve Cohen's like, nope, you can't have Nimmo. Brandon, what do you want? We'll give it to you and more. If that happens, if Benintendi goes back to the Yankees, and then all of a sudden the Blue Jays find themselves in a position where they got to trade for somebody. Listen, this is a very thin margin of error right now for the Toronto Blue Jays. Because as we talk about the pieces that are available, when we're looking at lefty bats, you got Conforto, you got Nimmo, you got Benintendi. After that, there's a big drop-off. Profar sort of lives in the middle of that drop-off, but you have Conforto, Nimmo, Benintendi, not ranked in that order. Just those would be the three best left-handed outfield bats that are available. And then you go Profar, and then you go down another level, and that's where you're living in that Kiermaier, Brantley, Grossman, and then you go down another level to Nyquin and Gallo and Calhoun. There's only a couple of players. And after that, you start looking at the trades. If you can't get it done with the free agency, you got to look at trades maybe with the Cubs for Ian Happ. I don't think the Pirates are going to trade Brian Reynolds. So much going on here. Miko, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to BALLCAP Nation. Thank you for the sub. Trade was fair. Kevin, I think that this is showing some of these deals go. Look at how much Edwin Diaz signed for. We've seen it in the World Series these last few years. The premium, the price for a good reliever for a good reliever, it's high. For an elite reliever, Eric Swanson was elite last year. But again, I said it earlier, do it again. He's done it once. He did it once. He did it last year. And we've seen guys go from okay to elite, back to okay. If he goes back to okay, that's a problem. There's going to be, guys. In Toronto, there is going to be so much weight on Eric Swanson's shoulders. Can he handle that? Generally, it's been pretty easy going for Eric Swanson. Came up with the Mariners. Was never a elite prospect with the Mariners. The highest he ever reached was in 2019. Baseball America ranked him the number 12 prospect. They did Eric Swanson in the Mariners organization. So, listen, it's been relatively easy going for Eric Swanson. Let me just go out there and kick ass. Now, he's going to have
How would you feel about Familia Reyes?
How would I feel about Franmil Reyes? He's not a lefty. I need lefties. I need lefties, Jimmy. Thank you for the donation, by the way. So, Eric Swanson had a relatively easy going time, and now it's about to be some pressure. There's going to be some weight on your shoulders because you're coming in, and that franchise, that fan base, is going to be expecting what you did last year. And what you did last year, as great as it was, that's going to be hard to do again. It just is. It is going to be hard for Eric Swanson to do that again. A 1.68 ERA after a 3.31 ERA. It's a big difference. The K rate jumping way up. The Ks per 9 going to 11.74 after it was at 8.92. He went to a new level. Does he go back? Does he stay? Blue Jays fans are going to expect him to stay. And if he doesn't, they're not going to be kind to Eric Swanson. Corey, that was last year. The Blue Jays were close. Kyle Schwarber has said as much that it was close to him signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's see. Brandon. This is only a bad trade because Teo was loved by our fan base. I don't think it is as bad as everyone is freaking out about it. And you have to consider the clubhouse toll. this is a tough one for the Blue Jays fan base because this was a guy that everybody loved. The fans loved him. The clubhouse, he's part of the crew. He's a part of that group with Bo and with Vladdy and Lourdes and George, and now he's gone. And he went to, quite frankly, an American League rival, right? The divisions, how we play within the divisions are going to change. We're not going to play as many times against the division rivals. You're going to start playing against everybody moving forward. But when you get to the postseason, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go up against Seattle, that lineup with Teoscar Hernandez. You just made a postseason rival, an American League rival, better. The Mariners, even though they just gave up Swanson, that bullpen is still fine. And there are pieces out there for them to go and get. And Mako still has to pitch at AA, still has to pitch at AAA. He might stink when he gets there, or he'll be great. We will see. But there's a question mark on Adam Mako. For whatever good anybody wants to say, I'll give it to you straight and clear. There's still a question mark on Adam Mako. Let's see him pitch at AA. Let's see him pitch at AAA. Let's see him pitch at the majors. That's 3 levels. And again, Swanson has to do it again. There are question marks around Swanson and Mako. There are no question marks around Teoscar Hernandez. The only thing about Teoscar Hernandez is that this is his final year of arbitration. That's the only thing. John, you won't do it. The Orioles will not trade within the division. That would be the problem with that. That would not happen. So that's how I feel about that trade. I think that ultimately that's where I land. I've got question marks on the pitchers that are coming back, and I have no question marks on Teoscar Hernandez. And you know me, I can put the objective hat on. I can take the Blue Jays hat off, and I can go objective. If I'm just objective about this, that's my only thing. As a Blue Jays fan, I'm a little shaky about it. As an objective observer, I look at this like, well, Seattle got better. Toronto's bullpen got a little better. But there's still question marks. Jimmy, what's going on, man? I do not want anything to do with Mike Moustakas at this point. Thank you for the donation, Jimmy. I wouldn't want to do that at this point. I think Mike Moustakas is past his prime. I wouldn't want to take on that contract. We don't have room for him, so I would not do it. I know you're thinking of lefties, but I would keep moving on past Mike Moustakas. Let's see here. Keep subscribing, everybody. Keep hitting that like. I do appreciate that. It really does. I mean, this is our big news of the day. We have grown nearly 100 subscribers since we started streaming here. So thank you guys, everybody. All of the new subscribers.
To the Blue Jays.
All of the new subscribers. Thank you. If any of you 100 new subscribers are still in here right now, thank you and welcome. I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that you've decided to subscribe. Let's see. Just go to the nuclear option. Trade Vladdy for Yordan Alvarez. Nick, I don't know if Houston would do that. I don't think Houston would do that trade. Comp to bot. Please free me from Moose. No, you're stuck with him. Sorry. Mike Moustakas? No, I think you're stuck with him. Robert, thank you, my friend. The Mariners... Yeah, I really do. This is such a great deal for the Mariners. Taking the Jays hat off for a minute, this is a great deal for Seattle. Your lineup is now longer. It's stronger. I guess there was never a chance of Mitch Haniger coming back because this obviously rules that out. And you have a pitching situation with that rotation, with that bullpen. You can absorb an Eric Swanson loss. Sewald, Munoz, Castillo, Brash, Murphy, Flexen. I understand Flexen or Brash may move back into the rotation. Right now, Marco Gonzalez is listed as your number 5. But how much is Marco Gonzalez doing it for you? And if you move Marco Gonzalez to the bullpen, there's a lefty arm that you need. I've identified the Mariners in my top 100 free agents that I'm still working on. That seems to be changing every day. I got to get that thing up. The Mariners need a lefty arm out of that pen if you can get one. And does Marco Gonzalez slide to the bullpen? You bring in Flexen or Brash back into the rotation, and Gonzalez goes to the bullpen, and Gonzalez is your lefty arm out of the pen. I don't know if you want to do that. I don't know if he could do that, but it would maybe be an option for you. there for Seattle. Ron, thank you for subscribing. We also have Dylan subscribing. Welcome in. Let's see. Brandon, you would definitely take Nimmo. Nimmo would be a great ad. And again, that's for anybody that missed it earlier. Guys, John Morosi, he was trying to tell us. He was trying to tell us yesterday that this was coming. He knew something. Sometimes these reporters, these insiders, they know things. They just can't say it because of whatever reason. They've been told off the record. They have been sworn to secrecy. They know that there's still too many moving parts. But yesterday, 24 hours ago, John Morosi said that Teoscar Hernandez, how about a trade? Hernandez for Flexen. And that is not what happened, but we just saw Teoscar Hernandez go for pitching. So he knew this was coming. Last night, we also had a tweet from Morosi that identified that the Blue Jays in the weeks ahead are expected to add at least one left-handed hitting outfielder from outside the organization. This was last night. And this morning, after the trade with Teoscar Hernandez, you have him saying that the Blue Jays are interested in Brandon Nimmo. So everything that John Morosi says right now has to be taken with gospel from Blue Jays Nation, from that Blue Jays fan base. Sign the Japan pitcher, Senga. It's an option. We know that they're one of the sort of initial 5. It's definitely an option. Let's see. Envy, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Jays make Ragel. Hold on, it's coming.
Jays better make free agency signing.
They have to. I agree with you. You do this trade, you have to feel good that there's something else coming. I wouldn't be surprised if whatever the Blue Jays are going to do next happens within the next 24 to 48 hours. You don't, I can't imagine you do this move if you feel like you're that far apart from Brandon Nimmo. Or, listen, the Blue Jays have not been linked to Benintendi. They have not, I mean, really, like maybe through speculative, maybe through, here's what I'm hearing. Listen, straight up, Morosi linking the Blue Jays to Nimmo within the last hour. The Blue Jays, if you go Nimmo, that can't be too far away, right? This is more speculation from me, but can you do this trade and not feel like you're close with whatever your other piece, whatever step 2 is, you can't be too far from, because the more time that passes, the more likelihood of is something can change. Someone comes in and makes a better offer to that player. Someone comes in and makes another trade offer with that team, and you're done. I got to think the Blue Jays are not too far from step 2 with whatever this plan is. MLB fan, I will... Listen, I'm being very careful about what I say about that right now, because I don't want to lead people in the wrong way. A lot of people don't like what I've had to say about that, and that's fine. That's their right. But I might have some more information on Friday. I'll just put it that way. I'm probably not going to tell anybody what I find out on Friday, but that's the deal. Yes, he did say Verlander to the Dodgers is more possible now. Morosi, listen, sometimes these guys go through off seasons where they're the connected, locked-in guy, and maybe this is Morosi's off season. Let's see, how is the poll doing now? Yeah, I haven't looked at it in a minute. My streaming software and where the poll is are 2 completely different locations. I do appreciate everybody that has voted on our poll, and it is a absolute runaway with over 1,000 votes. The Mariners won the trade.
Package Kirk Gurriel for elite pitcher.
Why is that not showing up in the timeline? There it is. Jay should package Kirk and Gurriel for an elite pitcher. I don't know if they need to go that far. I think you hold on. Regal, thank you for the dono. Thank you for the super chat. I think they're going to hold on to Gurriel at this point. I think they hold on to Gurriel. I think it is hard to trade Kirk. I think if you could, God, I went through this about a half hour ago. I can't pick a catcher to trade. I can't do it. Whatever they do, I'll be fine with. Okay? Let me put it that way. Whatever they do, I'll be fine with. If they trade Moreno, as long... Okay. Let me pull all this together. Whichever piece goes, as long as the return is right, I'm fine with it. Let me put it that way. I'm not living in a world where they better not trade Kirk. I don't care. They better not trade Moreno. I don't care. Whatever they choose to decide, as long as the return is right, I'm okay with. I am not completely planting a flag on any hill. Whatever they do, I get. I do think that this Teoscar Hernandez trade makes you think, what the hell's the market for Danny Jansen? So do they, and we know internally in the front office, the clubhouse, the way he handles the pitching staff, this team really likes Danny Jansen. I know they also like Kirk. So is it Moreno? That's the piece. Moreno, I think, probably brings you the highest return. Because I feel like we still, there are probably some people that feel like we started to kind of see how good Kirk can be. And Kirk looks like he's going to be a 10 to 20 homer guy, probably leaning closer to the 20, and a batting average in the high 2s, which is good. It was really good. But there's still some mystery around Moreno. And maybe there's a feeling that Moreno could be even better than that. So I think Moreno probably gets your best return. All TO Sports, what's up, boys? Another note. Why did they cut Tapia? Because he was expendable. I think at the end of the day, Tapia is not in the plans. If they're going through this process, think about what we just talked about. If they do, let's just throw some names out there to fill in some blanks, okay? Let's say they get Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo is your center fielder. George Springer is either your right fielder or your designated hitter. Let's say they bring Michael Conforto back as they try to reunite the 2021 New York Mets. Slowly, piece by piece. Let's say they put Michael Conforto, they go get him and put him in right field. George Springer goes between right, center, and DH, and they move all the pieces around because they traded one of the catchers away. They do all of that. Tapia has no purpose on the team. For the money that you'd have to pay him, there's no reason for Tapia to be on the team at that point.
Okay, now I'm curious about what you know.
JC, well, at your own risk, all you have to do is go to my Twitter account. All you have to do is do that, and you'll find out. What's up, Wally? Wally. Okay. Wally said, I was trying to be nice. But Wally kind of hit it on the head. I don't know, man. I know. Let's have some fun. Guys, we haven't done this in a while. We have not done this in a while. You see my Twitter account down there, at Jim Riley Live. Haven't done this in a while. If you follow me while we are live streaming, I will follow you back. If you currently follow me and I don't follow you back, then unfollow me and follow me again so I get the notification that you followed me recently. We'll do this right now. I'll put this out there for the near 600 people that are here right now. On Twitter, if you want me to follow, if you follow me, I will follow you back if you go find me on Twitter here in the next couple of minutes. I do that because a lot of you send me information. You send me tweets. Once we are followed to each other, the DMs are open. A lot of you DM me information. I love it. I don't always have a chance to get back to everybody, but I love it. So follow me on Twitter. I will follow you back when I get the notification. I'm probably not going to do it right now, but I will do it. And again, anybody that has picked me up in the last couple of months and follow me on Twitter, I may not have followed you back, but if you unfollow and follow me now, there you go. I will follow you back while we're here. Again, at Jim Riley Live. Again, at your own risk, you can go check out the timeline. It's crazy as hell on there. I wouldn't recommend getting sucked into the feed. Just let it be. But, there you go. Makes you think, I want you to follow me. Michael, I got you, right, brother? We're good. I got you followed. You guys are connected. You guys follow other people. You'll send me stuff that I might not see otherwise. So I'm all good. You guys follow me. What's going on? Hold on a minute. Got a kid thing that I need to look at. I just need to see something going on with my kid. Thank you to everybody that is following me over there. What happened with my kid? Okay, never mind. We're good. Nobody needs to be picked up from school. Yeesh. As a parent, yeah, we did kind of listen. We got something trending on Twitter. That was not my intent. That was never my intent, by the way, was to get anything trending in the sports department on Twitter. That was never my intent. My intent was never to fire up a fan base. My intent was never to piss off a fan base. But it happened. My intent was never to have Ken Rosenthal and Fox Sports have to address something that was put out there. I had never intended anything to get like that. That was not my intent. And a lot of people think that it's crazy, that I'm lying. But listen, if you don't want to believe something so badly that you have to say that the other person is lying, that doesn't change anything. It just makes you feel better, I guess. Anyway. George, thank you for the follow. I do see a whole ton of follows coming over on Twitter. Like I said, I will follow you guys all when I get off of this stream, whenever that is. Let's see. Yeah, envy, I can only imagine. Well, right now, we've got... Anyway, we don't need to get into a kid conversation. But yes, I totally get you. Thank you to everybody that's hit the like. We have surpassed the 300 like goal. We're at 316. Thank you to everybody that has hit the like. Thank you to everybody that's followed me over on Twitter. Again, like I said, I will follow you back. Economy of baseball may implode the way things are going. No, that just means we need another TV deal. That just means we need another TV deal, folks. That's all that means. Let's see. Christy, thank you for finding me over on Twitch. Ron, thank you for finding me over on Twitch as well. I do appreciate that. Tapia is fast, contact career 277 average. Tapia serves a purpose, but I just don't see him serving a purpose with this Blue Jay team moving forward, and that ultimately is the issue. I'd be interested in Kirk for Carlson. Eric, are you a 49er? What's up, brother? Yo, I saw somebody else earlier, and I thought it was you. And I instead of saying Mariners, I said Niners because I swore somebody must have a very similar profile picture to you that was here about an hour ago. So yes, what's going on, 49er? How are you? Eric, are you a Cardinals fan saying that, or are you a Blue Jays fan? I would be very interested if Cardinals fans would be down with that. I do think that Dylan Carlson's track has not been to where Cardinals fans had hoped at this point, but there's still a future there. Would you do that? I'm wondering about that. Let's see. Kofi, getting rid of Tapia is worse than losing Teo. Is it, though? Let's see. What else we got? I'm really curious. Cardinals fan, are you good with that? All is good, 49er Audi. All is good. Eric, you are a Jays fan. As a Jays fan, yes, I would do that too. I don't know if Cardinals fans would be down with that. I don't think Cardinals fans would sign off on that. I think they like the upside, the future. I know that the Cardinals have top 3 or top 4. It's Herrera is one of their top prospects. That's the way that their future is. Now, Kinzer is not the guy, but Herrera is. Bringing in a experienced veteran catcher to help bring him along would be great. I don't know how much Molina was able to work with him. They did have Herrera up at points during the season, late in the season. So maybe the wealth of knowledge has been passed along. Or maybe, I don't know, Molina works with the kid anyway, even though he's, going to be off, not on the roster, and can help bring him along. I don't know. But you could also go out and get somebody like Hedges or Vasquez or somebody like that for a year as well. So I think that Cardinals fans would likely be less inclined to do that move. Bone 6,000, thank you for that donation. Kevin put that out there,
moved
too.
to make room for Judge in right field. Smiley face.
That is pretty funny. No, that's good. Kevin put that out there earlier, too. I saw that on Twitter. That's pretty funny. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Do you think Bellinger leaves the Dodgers? I think that there's a very tough decision that the Dodgers have to make. With the money that he's going to make, about $16 million this year, you can't spend $16 million, even if the Dodgers have that money, for a guy that's going to hit 175 and 10 home runs. They can't do it. So there's a very real chance that they will not offer him a contract. There's a very real chance. And then somebody else will have to pick up that final year of arbitration. Why don't the arbitration dollars go back more? Can we be honest about the arbitration? Why do they get to a level and then sort of stay at that level? 2022's paycheck for Bellinger was similar to 2021, even though 2021 sucked. Why didn't it go back And why wouldn't it go back more this year? He's still going to get $16 million for what? That should be cut in half. That's not how it works. It should, but that's not how it's going to work. Again, thank you for the donation, Bone. I do like that. Let's see. Altio Sports definitely doesn't want Judge. Next year will be a huge drop. Well, yeah, look at Marcus Semien. Look at Marcus Semien's drop with the Rangers. It just happens. He's not going to hit 60 home runs again next year. He's going to hit 40. And that's still going to be a really good year. But it's 22 less home runs than he hit this past year. And if you're paying for 60 home runs and you get 40, that could be trouble. That could be trouble. Wolf, yes, he does. And I think he's going to get it. I think he will get it as well. All right, everybody. We are an hour and 25 into this thing. Everybody that followed me on Twitter, I am going to follow you guys back. Again, if you haven't followed me, if you weren't here for that part, my Twitter account's right there, at Jim Riley Live. Follow me over there. And once you do, send me stuff. Send me from the accounts that you follow, the inside reporters, the beat writer, whoever. I mean, I try to follow as many as I can, but a lot of times you guys send me stuff. Once we are linked up and follow each other, you can DM me. If you see something, I encourage it. I don't have, 100,000 followers on Twitter. I'm trying to get to 3,000, so it's a very manageable number right now. So follow me on Twitter. These early days, we'll do that. And again, if you already follow me on Twitter and I don't follow you, unfollow me. Follow me again so I get the notification, and I will follow you back. Anybody that's just getting here in the last couple minutes, you're going to want to rewind to go to the beginning for my initial reaction, for some breakdown, some thought on the deal. Because right now we're just kind of going. We're at the hour and a half mark. I do have somebody that's supposed to be coming here to do some work down here, so I got to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for coming in and spending some time with the channel. Members, thank you. Subscribers, thank you. New subscribers, welcome to BALLCAP Nation. I'm happy to have you a part of our community. Moderators, thank you. Everybody with the super chats, thank you. Participating in the chat, thank you. You guys have been absolutely amazing today. Absolutely. So thank you guys for coming in and being a part of this. At the end of the day, I'm still sitting here after an hour and a half where it's got to be part of a plan. If it's part of a bigger plan, I'm good with it. If that plan falls apart, then this could get ugly quick. But it is what it is. Mariners won the trade in the end. Mariners, I do think, won the trade. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. If anything crazy happens, I will be back. So make sure to have subscribed and turn the alerts on so you know that we're back talking about anything crazy. Plan B, step 2, cannot be too far behind. It can't be, right? Anyway, enjoy the rest of your, what day is today? Wednesday, everybody, and I'll catch you guys next time.